Yeah, macro market. It's a bit confusing. Last week was really strong. This week is off to a poor
And I
start.
think the removal of a lot of that, Delta dollar, put exposure, probably led to the rally that we saw last week. And there hasn't really been any significant news one way or another on, inflation or macro, anything really. My sense is, and I've been feeling this way for a little while, that we're probably not going to have any, strong, sustainable rally up until we get to the point where you've got meaningful information. So I think we're going to start to see a little bit more divergence between the companies that are able to weather this storm and those that are not.
I think the for sure the earnings will make a big difference as long as there's no major macro market changes.
I think there's a reasonable chance that you could see an increase in M&A activity where a lot of the incumbents are just kind of scooping up these, these small companies that are, just trading at a $1 billion, $2 billion range.
They have their end of quarter production and delivery metrics coming out this week.
Like the only thing I have a little bit of uncertainty about is the kind of production rate for the last, call it 2 weeks out of Shanghai. This is about as bad of a quarter as Tesla could have had. Yeah. So what does that look like when you've got the combination of ramping and like the huge furnace of burning cash that Elon was talking about?
240, 270 is my 90% confidence. Anything outside of that, I think is like 10% chance.
I think it's reasonable that there's actually going to be an FSD take rate increase this quarter. I don't think that's going to come close to offsetting the, call it 5 to 6% gross margin hit on the kind of manufacturing side. But I think that could be a kind of interesting story. And I think they're probably going to recognize some incremental deferred revenue out of full self-driving also.
I do agree that the take rate has increased. I just don't know by what. If it was 10% before, maybe it's 12 or 15% now. Where in the Twitter world is Elon Musk? Like, he's disappeared for almost a week straight now.
The Twitter deal is kind of in a very critical phase right now where they're presumably digesting some of this bot information. And just to avoid the potential of lawsuits, it may be a good idea just for Elon to like say, I could imagine like his advisor on the deal just saying, hey, listen, you get extremely confidential information here. You've already really upset Twitter with the way that you like very publicly criticize them. Let's not, if you want to get this done, don't jeopardize it by like tweeting out confidential like material information that on the deal. And so like best thing for you to do, Elon, is just put the phone away until we get over XYZ hurdle in the deal.
Rocket Lab just had its most impressive mission ever early this morning.
The really interesting thing with this mission is that they've got a very unique orbit that they're trying to do. And the mission is not even close to complete yet, as you alluded to. It's the most energy efficient way to get to the moon. Peter Beck was tweeting a couple days ago that this was by far their most technical mission to date. And for everything to be going so smoothly so far is a really good sign.
If you could send things to lower Earth orbit, that's the hard thing to do. And only SpaceX and Rocket Lab are doing that and have been doing that for years now. So it seems like to us, Rocket Lab is a second place to space. It's clear distant second place to SpaceX, but it's a clear distant second place. I think it's more car insurance centric, especially with the Metro Mile deal. It's almost made me personally think all the other stuff Lemonade doesn't really matter.
They don't have the demand, anything close to what Tesla has. I know Tesla's not going to be 100% market share. Like that's crazy, but I'm just less concerned with competition coming.
It makes sense. I mean, this is something sort of Kathy Wood has been saying. A lot of people are recalling that the Fed's going to reverse course sooner or later, seeing deflationary pressures coming in. I don't know if it's probable, but it's close to.
I don't think Elon has any desire to kind of hit up the capital markets again. While 20 billion seems like a ridiculously huge amount of cash, given the free cash flow that they're generating, I just kind of sense that they're going to be conservative with their financial policy, given how aggressive they're going to be on their kind of CapEx plan going forward.